Good morning. Well, we're back on the Barracuda again today, making good, steady progress. So I did end up ordering a black dipstick for this Turbo 400, or this Turbo, 4060E from Silver Sport. So I got this from Summit. I don't know how I got the other one, but I only paid for one, so I'm gonna probably try to send that other one back. But anyway, this is our dipstick from Summit. It's black, like I wanted. It's got the rubber grommet or gasket that goes inside up here. So I hope this thing fits. So let's get started and see if we can get this thing in there. Put it right in. Wow. Wow, it went in. I'm not gonna say anything yet because I'm not gonna jinx myself, but you guys know how automatic transmission dipsticks can be when you go to put especially the hardline ones back in. This being a GM transmission in a Mopar, I was like, well, I'll get a flexible one, but I bet it's still gonna fight me. But so far, so good. So let's let this thing down and see where we can land the mounting position. Probably this would be a great place right here, actually. It's a matter of drilling the hole, and I have to. A little bit of pressure on it so it keeps it in one place. All right, our dipstick is mounted. Then you say, well, how the hell are you going to put fluid in it, dummy? Well, they dummy proofed it, Darren proofed it for me, and it came with this right here. Just slides in there like that, put your funnel in right here, and you're off to the races. So yep, pretty snazzy. I probably need to keep this with the car. And now, put our dipstick in, and it's even got where it shows, I believe, yeah, I'm thinking probably just halfway up here. You guys tell me that it's got, that you guys that have yeah, here we go. There's full. I don't want it full, as y'all know. You kind of want it about half, just maybe halfway. Definitely don't want it full though. So, but I can read that. All right, let's start getting some of this ducting set up. So we're gonna start with our classic auto air system now. We're back on that. Let's go ahead and get the defroster set up, bag E. And they've got our hoses, they've got our adapters. I think these adapters are probably what's gonna hook up to my defroster vents here. And then it's got tie wrap for each one, and then I assume this goes to the box. So let's get started. All right, so I had to just slowly get this thing. It's a tight fit, which you probably want so it doesn't fall off. But now that I have on it, you guys take your time. And I wouldn't use a screwdriver or anything because you're going to puncture it. So now that I've got that on there and it feels pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and use one of the tie wraps, secure it, and then we'll probably do the same where it goes onto the box. All right, something they don't tell you in the directions, you know, they're telling you to put all this on after you got the box installed. If I had to do it all over again, I would have installed these onto the box, and I'll tell you why. You're not going to be able to slide this over that pilot, that duct on the box. There's just no way. You can only get one hand back there. So what I did was I took my scissors and I just put just a short little, like that right there, that little ring right there. I was able to cut just a little slot. I just want enough to slide it over. There it is. Right there. Now I can get it slided over that duct. Otherwise, it's not going on there. Unless y'all, some of you guys, if y'all can do it, but this right here, it's a big help. Then now on this side, I think I can tie wrap it. I don't know if I can get the tie wrap on the other side, but it is very tight. I got it pulled all the way down, and it is tight. So let's see if I can try one more time, get that tie wrap around on that box over there on that side. Yeah. Again, put these tie wraps on. before you get up there, because you've only got one hand. Unless you got a little Keebler up there, you can't get this thing wrap around. That airbox takes up all the room. So I'm gonna go ahead, this is on the driver's side. I'm gonna put my tie wrap here and cut it, the excess of course. All right, so all I have to do is pull it tight. Once it goes over, you see I made my little slit right there so I can get it over the... Oh boy. Yeah. Now, there's defrost right there. It is blowing hard. And on this, I may have to reprogram this because I'm in the middle. My defrost is over all the way on the right. And now it's pushing it. Okay, it's pushing on the, so where defrost is at and where heat is at, they're backwards. Defrost is pushing it out the bottom, but I don't remember if there's a way I can program this to change that. But I can tell you, it is, this car hadn't had defrosters in decades. Oh man, nice. And it never blew that hard. Nice. All right, now to the AC. Okay, so here's what they pretty much tell you to do. Attach 2 louvers to the bottom of the dash with 4-10 by 3/4 hex head tech screws, sheet metal screws, self-starting. Looks like you got the option to have 2 or 4 of these. I'm gonna go ahead and run all 4. But what you have to do, they're not telling you, I assume, there's no instructions, but I'm gonna have to drill a hole in these tabs right here on the ends, and then I'll have to take these holes back out and then mark on my dash on the bottom so I know where to land the sheet metal screws that go to the metal part of the dash. So this may take a little bit of time, but we're going to start drilling these and then we'll mark our holes where to land them. That look pretty. All right, now we've gone in and pre-drilled the dash for the screws right here. We placed these where we wanted them. Then we took them back out, and then we attached these hoses. Now these hoses, it's an oval fit, and you got to do a lot of stretching. They can be a pain, but you want to get them on over here so you're not fighting in the car. And then, of course, we use the tie wraps here to secure them. And then Trish also took some pre-set up tie wraps so when we attach them to the box. Now here's what we're going to do. I think the first attempt, I'm going to see if this works, is I'm going to attempt to go ahead and attach these to the box first, and then I'll mount the vents to the under the dash. But the hardest one's going to be the one over on the driver's side. I may have to go ahead and, because I've got to route this over some of the steering column and the wiring, so let's start with probably the hardest one first, which is going to be the farthest driver's side, which is right here. Let's see where it's telling us to put that thing. Yep, top left. So let's get this thing attached to the top left.
So I like the classic auto air kit. It's been really, really good. But if anything that could be improved is this ducting system. There's not hardly any room to share these 2 ducts. You have to stretch these things to get them over in the first place. And as you can see, I can't get this one to go down any further because there's just no room. And for putting all these on and get them to stretch and go over, there's got to be a better design. If somebody could come up with a better design that was more like a quick disconnect that had, I don't know, a fastener of some sort. But this in my opinion is something to be approved, because I had to take this off. It started shaking around. I didn't want to break anything. So after I've got all these ducts on here, then I'll clip this back on up to the air box. But yeah, this right here is probably one of my biggest complaints, this setup right here.
All right, we got now all of our vents set up. So let's see now when we have AC, let's see what happens here. All right, let's see. Cold. Let's see if we come over here. Ha ha ha! Hell yeah! Woo! Oh, she's blowing good. Blowing hard. Look at that. Oh yeah. Finally. So car I hadn't run AC in probably since the 80s. So now our AC and our defrost is now set up. Let's see here. Okay, there's defrost right there. Kind of a blend. Oh yeah. Now, there, okay. Let's see. Okay, that must be heat. Yeah. Okay, so I've got to program this thing. Defrost, it's coming out the heater thing right here. If I go to here, now it's coming out the defrosters. And if I go to where it's off, okay, I gotta, golly, it's blowing hard. All right, another small win, but I'll take it. So I got to thinking, why in the world, when you put the car in reverse, regardless of the key being on or off, the lights would come on, the reverse lights. I got thinking, that's just a key 12 volts, probably what that is. So I went back over the directions, and it just says connect wire to plus 12 volt supply. Well, it probably should have said keyed, because I had it on a constant right here. Now, car's off, key's off, let's see what happens. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the key on. As you see, we've got reverse lights. So that part's been resolved. Okay, well, lastly, the gray wire that's part of our Terminator transmission wiring harness, it says wired to the brake light switch. Now, this must be installed to a 12 volt source. I have 12 volts. I have a 12 volt wire that goes to the brake light switch. But does that keep it on, and then once it loses 12 volts, is that what kicks the converter off? Maybe so. If that's the case, I can probably start wiring that up. So here's the snag I hit. I'm sure it's easily overcome, but they want 12 volts to the converter, I assume, all the time until you hit the brakes, and it disrupts the 12 volts and shuts the converter off, I assume. Mine is wired backwards. My switch has, when you hit the brakes, it gives it 12 volts. So it's opposite. So I need to find that out. How does it want, does the gray wire want 12 volts unless it's disrupted when I hit the brakes? Or is it vice versa? It wants 12 volts to turn the solenoid off on the converter. I gotta get verification, then I've got to figure out how to do that on my brake switch. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Guess what else works? Our neutral safety switch. It's in park. Get it. I'll take it. All right, we got 4 wins today, and I will take that every time. Just like Richard Petty said, I'd rather be lucky than good any day. So what do we get done? First, we got our dipstick, transmission dipstick mounted. Second, we got our reverse lights figured out. Third, big one, we got all of our defroster and air conditioning ducting completed and the vents mounted. All of our vents set up. So let's see. All right, let's see. Oh, she's blowing good. And finally, now we have a neutral safety switch that works properly in park and neutral. Chicken dinner. Guess what else works? So all in all, a really, really good day. Now, one thing we're leaving today with, I've got to find out about this gray wire and how I'm going to accomplish the brake light switch. It's got to be something easy, I know. I'm just probably overthinking things. Believe it or not, the wires are starting to clean up under the dash. Don't think I'm going to need this because this is part of the fan if you use a sensor that has not tied in with the terminator at all. So I do have another set of pigtails coming for the fans to properly plug into the fans at moparstore.com, I believe. Basically what I should have done is ordered the dual fan connector system, and that was the difference. So yes, very, very happy. The CUDA is coming along and it's getting heavier. I have noticed pushing this car around, she's gaining some weight, getting a little porky. So anyway, hope y'all got something out of this. Y'all following along. If you got any questions on the 4L60E and a Mopar, the Gen 3 Hemi, the fan radiator setup, wiring harness, the list goes on. Let me know what you think. We're getting close. So if you hadn't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks everybody for following along.